So in this video today, we're going to be looking at passing chords, specifically 2, 5, 1. Yeah, those passing chords right there, 2, 5, 1. For example, it would sound something like this. If I want to go from C to F, now you might have heard this sound before, or maybe you haven't, but have a listen. It's going to go like this. Yeah. Or, different context, if I want to go from here to here, so C to A minor, I could do this. It's still the same concept. Granted, in the first example, I went from a major chord to another major chord. And then in the second inversion, I went from a major chord to a minor chord. But both options utilize, in terms of passing chords, 2, 5, 1 harmony. So in music, generally speaking, you're going to get the perfect cadence of 5 to 1 being one of the strongest relationships you're going to come across. 5 to 1. So I'm in the key of C. This is the C major scale. So simply put, this fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the G, going to the 1, that's going to be the strongest relationship. Think about it. If I play it for you, that has a very clear sense of a resolution, going from this chord to this chord. So when we start to apply 2, 5, 1 harmony, we're thinking, okay, 1 is our destination. So for example, in the key of C, if I wanted to play a 2, 5, 1 chord progression, I would play the second degree of the major scale, so a D minor. Then I'll play the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, G major. That would be a 2, 5, and then we'll go 1. Simply put, 2, 5, 1. Likewise, if I wanted to do the same thing, for example, in the key of F, I'll just switch it over here. So our F major scale. So the second degree of the scale will be the G, so we'll play G minor. And we need that B flat in there in relation to the major, the diatonic scale. Keeping all the chord notes just mutual in terms of the diatonic scale, the major scale. So we're going to play a 2, second degree of the F major scale, a 5, and then 1. Now, it starts to get quite creative when you start to pull from different key signatures. For example, if I go back to the key of C, in the first example that I played for you in the intro, I did this. I played a C major chord and I knew I was going to go to an F, and I pulled, even though I was in the key of C, I pulled from the world of F, playing a 2, 5, 1 in the key of F. And I did that because I knew ultimately I'll be ended on an F chord. Have a listen. This is the chord progression, chord 1 in the key of C to chord 4, which is F. Now, regardless of the numbers, the fact that this is chord 1 and this is the 4th degree of the C major scale, for this example, it doesn't matter in terms of the numbers. The fact of the matter is we're going from a C major chord to an F major, so our F major is our destination. So then, if I know that I'm going to be going to F major, and I'm smiling because this is where things get really interesting. So if I know I'm going to be going to F major, then I can start to pull from the world of F major. And as you can see, that B flat is not in the key of C, but in the overall context of getting to our F, it will work beautifully. Have a listen to this. It's like we've gone somewhere and we've landed back down. And this is the beauty of being able to play in all 12 keys, because with that in mind, you're not just locked into the rules of the major scale in whichever key center you're in. So as much as we were in the key of C, going to F, but we're able to know that, in the key of F, if I play a 2, 5, 1, I can essentially create some beautiful contrast, but that can still resolve to our F chord in the key of C. So have a listen. So we've got chord 1, going to chord 4. Now I'm going to utilize the passing chord approach, doing a 2, 5, 1 in the context of F and going to F. Have a listen. 2 in the key of F, 5 in the key of F, and resolving to 1 in the key of F, or chord 4 in the key of C. Yeah. So let's put this in practice. The perfect song that comes to my mind is Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake. I got this feeling, yeah. I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric. So right there, they've got a chord 1, which goes to chord 6, the 6th degree, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A minor, and it goes down to chord 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 1, 6 if you want to see up there, 4. So what would happen if we utilize this idea that we've now developed to know that, okay, if we want to go to chord 4, we can utilize a 2, 5, 1 from the 4, so from the F major key, to create some interest and add these passing chords. Let's see how it would sound. I'll go quite slowly. So I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric. It works. And a big thing about this is knowing how much time you have between chords, because sometimes it won't lend itself. You might simply run out of time to be able to include some of these passing chords, and it might sound a bit forced if you try to do so. So it does depend on the song and also the time frame of how the chords change and how much time you have between each chord changing. So one more time, I'll give you the original approach. It goes electric wavy, and it actually goes back to our 6. So that's the fundamental chord progression. Now we're going to incorporate our 2, 5, 1. So I got this feeling inside my bones, passing. It goes electric wavy. Yeah. So can you see how straightforward that is? We're picking a destination and we're utilizing a 2, 5, 1 in relation to that destination. Wonderful. So that works well in this context, going to a major chord. You could also do the same thing going to a minor chord. So if we have C major, we're still in the key of C. Yes, we are. We're still in the key of C. And we know, for example, this song, Can't Stop the Feeling, we know it goes to an A minor. So what you can do is do a 2, 5, 1, but in this minor context. Let's look at it. So if this is our destination, the A, then I know that 1, 2, so that 2nd degree is going to be the 2 of where we're going to. That's fine. Now, if we incorporate the 5th away, so the 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, keeping it in the minor context, it's going to be E. Now, in the context of a minor, that 5 is going to be major. Yeah. So you're essentially going to have a B diminished for the 2 in the context of an A minor being the 1. That's going to be your 2. So it's quite a different sound. You've got a diminished feel. Then you're going to have a E major to take us to our 1, the A minor. So you got the 2, the 5, and a 1. In this context, remember, we've got this destination of A. Yeah, A minor. 2, 5, 1. All right. So how would it sound now? Same song, Can't Stop the Feeling. I got this feeling. So normally it would go inside my bones. But now we could do, I got this feeling passing inside my bones. Okay. So now we've got 2 options now. We can go to a major chord, thinking about the diatonic scale and playing the respective 2, 5, 1. And likewise, we can go to a minor chord and thinking about the 2, 5, 1 in that context as well. So let me compare and contrast. Can't Stop the Feeling. Inside my bones, it goes electric wavy. Wonderful. That's the traditional progression. Now, let's incorporate the 2, 5, 1 in a minor context. Check it out. I got this feeling passing inside my bones. It goes and do it when it turn it on. Just about to get the lyrics out. Yeah, so 1. Now we're playing this diminished, going to our A minor. Beautiful. Now, what if you wanted to include both of the options now? So a 2-5-1 in the minor context going to the 6, this A minor, and then a 2-5-1 going to the 4 of this F major. Have a listen. I got this feeling inside my bones, passing. It goes electric waving when I turn it on. Beautiful. So simply put, that is a very good skill set to have. 2-5-1, knowing your 2-5-1 harmony. Now we can even take this a step further, because in the chord progression, when we finish on the 6, it's going to come back to chord 1. So essentially we could even build again and think about what is a 2-5-1 in the context of C. It is literally what I played. So the D minor will be the 2, then the G major will be the 5-1. So when we come back around after I got this feeling inside my bones, it goes electric waving, we could do our 2-5-1 here. 2-5-1. And it gets really creative when you start to think about your chords, not just as static places, but more so as worlds, and you can actually get to those worlds utilizing the respective 2-5-1 approach. So as you can see, the chord progression has changed substantially. Now it's up to you, and it depends on the context of where you want to use it. For me, if I was going to approach it to start off with, I'll keep it simple to start with. I might include it here, and I might just leave it. Next, I got that sunshine in my pocket. Maybe here for the yeah, so you can make your choices accordingly. So that works perfectly. As you can see, we're just using triads at the moment. The way that this can be then built is adding some additional chords or additional color notes, not necessarily additional chords, even though that can be done. I might do a video about that in due course, in terms of, you know, not just doing 2-5-1s only, but you can actually build on that. For example, you could do a 6-2-5-1, but that's another video. That's another video maybe. But what I want to look at now is the addition of other color tones, chord extensions. Major 7 is a really good option to have. So let's look at that. If we know, and it's not just major 7s, we can also do the flat 7 as well, and also like minor chords as well, minor 7s, etc. So let's look at this. We're going to be going from chord 1 to chord 6. Then we're going to be doing chord 4, but to approach chord 4, we're doing our 2-5-1. So straight away, for the 2 in the key of F, that G minor, let's add the 7 in there. Oof, that's lush. And likewise for the C, let's add the flattened 7th. So, which will then resolve to our F. So, give you some context, going from chord 1, I got this feeling inside my bones, passing. Yeah, we can come back to our triad. I'm fine with that. It doesn't need to be a major 7. It doesn't need to be like that. That's fine. So all together once again. I got this feeling inside my bones. Beautiful. Likewise in the context, going to A minor then. So we know we're going to be playing a diminished. Now what I'm going to make this chord into is a half diminished. So I'm going to add the A. And then for the E major, which is the 5 of where we're going to in terms of this A minor, I'm going to make it, going to add that 7 in there, the flat 7. So I got this feeling, check it out, inside my bones, yes. And then it goes electric waving when I turn it on. Now think about it. Think about where we started. We started here. I got this feeling inside my bones. It's a fundamental progression. It goes Then we added passing chords. So we're going to go to the 6, the A minor with this passing chord, diminished, passing, it goes electric wave. Now we're going to do the same idea with these extra chord extensions. So check it out now. I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wave when I turn. And we can even come around with a 2, 5, 1. 2 is a minor 7, 5 is a dominant 7, so a G7 to C. Beautiful, beautiful. So this is fine. We're in the key of C. This is working perfectly, but I would always encourage you, and this has really helped me over the years, to practice these chord ideas and chord progressions in all of the other 11 keys. So there's 12 keys in total. So in this case, we've done C, but there's 11 more that we could go through. So let's do the same idea. Let's go to the key of G. All right. So we're using the same chords. This is the major scale. So we're going to be playing chord 1. We're going to be playing chord 6, chord 4, and then back to the 6. So all together it will be like this. I got this feeling inside my bones. Okay, so let's look at the approach that we did going from chord 1 to 6, but then going to the 4. Okay, so what is the 2 in the context of C? Well, this is perfect because before we were in the key of C, and we know that 2 is this. D minor, the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is G major to 4. So the passing approach in this context would be like this. So we know that we're going to utilize some passing chords going to C. So we're starting with the G. Inside my bones. Here we go. 2, it goes electric. So our 2, 5, 1 in the context of C. Yeah. So once again, I got this feeling inside my bones. Passing, it goes electric wave it when I turn. Oh, yes. Great. Now going to this minor, E minor then. So using our 2, 5, 1 approach. So this is the first degree. The second degree will be F sharp, but we're going to be playing a diminished. And then we're going to be utilizing the 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are going to be playing a B major. So the context going to this E minor chord will be the 2, the 5, in the context of this E. I'm going to finish it with the E minor. Wonderful. So let's put it together. Chord 1, I'll give you the original chord progression in this key. It goes electric wave it. Alright, so we're going to be playing chord 1 and passing to chord 6. So this is going to be the first passing chord, diminished. That's the 2, and then that's the 5, and then finishing right here. Yeah, a bit faster. Got this feeling inside my bones. Yeah, it goes. Alright, so now let's incorporate the context of the 2, 5, 1 going to E minor and the 2, 5, 1 going to C major. Here we go. I'll go slowly for you. I got this. I have to sing it up there. I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric waving when I turn it on. One more time. I got this feeling inside my bones. Passing, it goes electric. Simple as that. And we knew that we're going to be going back to chord 1, so we can actually play the 2 in the context of G, a 5 when we bring the progression all the way back around. So after our I got this feeling inside my bones, cause electric wavy when I turn it, passing again, 2, 5, 1. Wonderful. All right, now we have to incorporate those extra color tones, the chord extensions. So in the context of going to C for our 2, we're going to be playing a D minor 7, and then our G is going to be a G7. It's not just a triad. I'm gonna get some extra color and then finish with the C. So slowly, I got this feeling inside my bones. Here we go. D minor 7, G7. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Yeah. All it. One more time. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Likewise, in the context of the E minor, then, rather than playing a diminished for the 2, we're going to be playing a half diminished. So we're going to be adding on the E. Yeah, so it's going to be here. And then for the B chord, rather than it being B major, I'm going to add in the flat 7th as well, making B7. Yeah. So here we go. Going to here. And remember, that's your 2, 5, 1 in the context of E minor. So let's incorporate these all together then. I'll give you the fundamental chord progression. 1, inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Okay, here we go. Passing chords. So here we go. Pass, pass, pass. And then pass, pass, pass. Yeah, one more time. So it's a 2, 5, 1 in the context of E minor, 2, 5, 1 in the context of C major, electric wavy, and when we come back around, we're going to do our 2, 5, 1 in the key of G, 2, 5, home. Yeah. So as you can see, when you start to practice these chord progressions in other keys, you'll start to see that they're essentially at some point you're going to get quite a bit of crossroads happening in terms of understanding how certain chords work in some keys, but also they also can translate to being able to be used in other keys. For example, when we went to our C in the key of G, we had chord 1, chord 6. When we went to this C chord and we wanted to know, okay, what is our 2, 5, 1? We already knew it because we'd already worked that same chord progression out when we were in the key of C. Yeah, when C was the home. And this is really the point that you want to get to when you're playing piano, that all these ideas are just, you know, are very accessible. You know, you don't just want to be locked into just being able to just do one chord progression idea in one key and just be limited to just that. You want to be able to pull from all the 12 keys, and it becomes really, really, really helpful when you get to that point where you're confident and competent to be able to pull from these ideas from all the 12 keys, because you'll start to see that you can utilize them to a great extent and utilize certain concepts from other keys when you're in, you know, in the key of G, for example. You know, we're using the idea of, you know, ideas from C. Also, likewise, we're going to, looking at this option here, going to the A minor, a 2, 5, 1 in A minor, which is fine. But in another context, when you're playing a song in another key, you might, for example, be in the key of, D, for example. If I show you this, so we know that in the context of G, when we went to the 6, we had this 2, 5, 1, which is fine. But if we went to the key of D, and alright, so the song that comes to my mind is Ed Sheeran's Thinking Out Loud, when it's so that's fine for the verse, but then there's the next part, which is people fall in love in mysterious ways. So they go to the E minor. So we could think, we know what we could do to go to an E minor chord, because we already worked this out in the key of G when we went to chord 6, which is still E minor. We could do our 2, 5, 1. How would it sound in this context? Let's see. So let's play the verse. This is Thinking Out Loud, Ed Sheeran. Yeah. Let's just move to Here we go. that alone, did you see how quickly I was able to pull from the idea of knowing that this idea going to this E minor chord is the same concept that we worked on in the key of G. So I could just pull from it. And when we move to that section, I'll play it one more time. There we go. Simple as that. Yeah. So guys, I hope this is helpful. I hope you found this helpful, and I will encourage you, do put in the time. You know, it might take a while, especially if you're new to this, in terms of exploring these chord options, and it may feel at first a bit overwhelming, but just take your time, go through each key and really get competent at each key, playing, for example, what we were looking at to start with in terms of Can't Stop the Feeling, utilizing these passing chords. And you can make this into your own practice exercise. For example, if I go back to the key of C and I end with this, if I just make up a chord progression that has 4 chords, say it starts on chord 1, we go to chord 4, we go to chord 5, no, let's go to chord 2, and then chord 5. So we're going to go 1, 4, 2, 5. Then you can set yourself a challenge to be like, okay, I know I'm going from chord 1, and I'm going to finish on chord, the next chord is going to be chord 4. How can I utilize the 2, 5, 1 in this context? So I know that I'm going to be going to chord 4, which is F, so that the 2 would be here, 1, 2, in terms of the F major scale. So 2, 5, 1. Even if you just started with that, so 1. This is the foundation chord progression. This is the challenge now in terms of your piano practice. So passing, just that. And then if you just worked on that, the next semitone above, which would be, we'll go to D flat. It's the same idea. This is the chord progression, the fundamental one. 2, 5. Now we're going to be looking at going from here, and we need to do a passing chord to get to here, the 2, 5, 1 option. So 2 passing chords. So we know we're going to be going here to G flat. So what's the 2 of G flat? So the second degree will be A flat minor, then the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, D flat major, to 4. Yeah, so that would be passing, yeah, and then the 2. Even if you just start with that as a foundation, that would be wonderful. Then once you're able to be competent playing that, in terms of the 2, 5, 1 in that context, going to the 4, you can go back to C and think about the fact that in the chord progression we've got 1, so we've got these passing chords, that's fine, but now we're going to be going to our D minor. So we need to think, okay, 1 in terms of the D minor, so if I take it up here, so the 2 would represent the E, and we're going to be needing to play a diminished chord for the 2, and then the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it's going to be an A major. So in terms of this context, the 2, 5, 1 in this key will be our 2 right here, and then our 5, 1 in this context of the minor. So then we're going to be going 1. Oh yeah, I forgot the passing chord. I'll leave the passing chord going to the F for now. So 1, passing, to our G. I'll do up an octave. So 1 to our 4. We're going to be passing 2. Yep. Wonderful. Same thing. Up a half step to the key of D flat. So this is the one that we're in. So we're going to be going 1, then chord 4. Now we know we're going to be going here. So we need to think, okay, the second degree will be a diminished chord, which is going to be that. It's going to be our chord 2. And then we'll be going to the 5 with 5. Oh, and we have to play a major. Yeah, so it's going to be our 2, 5, 5, 1 in this context. And we come back around. So 1, 4, there we go. Yeah. And then you work through that in all 12 keys, and then you can put it together. Going back to the key of C, so now you can go 1. Oh yeah, I'll go up an octave. 1, passing, 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 passing. Yeah, one more time. Passing from there to get to there, and then our 2, 5, 1. So 2, 5, 1 to get to F, and then our 2, 5, 1 in this minor context. That's how you do it. That's quite literally how I'd encourage you to do it. And then of course you've got the 7th approach as well, which would be our G minor 7. So adding the 7th, C7 to our F, and then likewise in the context of going to that D minor, and then have a diminished, it would be a half diminished, adding the D, and then our A7, and then finishing our D minor. So if I give you that in context, it would be 1, passing with this, the 2, 5, both with 7th chords, going to the 1 or the F, and then likewise passing with the 2, 5, 1 in this minor context, going to D minor. Yeah, and then you just work through that systematically through all the 12 keys, and then at that point you should have great confidence to be able to utilize these ideas wherever certain chords come up that you choose to do it. So I hope this video was super helpful to you. If you enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and if you're new to the channel, do subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.